And then I got a little invested, but keep in mind, I am still adamantly against this writer and her choices. But
Everything.
this Atlas kid is saving the fucking book. Like,
I am infuriated with how this book is going. And then I couldn't help it. I had to check what was going on in book 2. Like, I needed to know what it was. And I think it's this story with the point of view of Atlas, which should have been it from the
oh.
beginning. Should have been this is what the book should have been.
Now, see, I don't know about you guys, but at least when it came to the Twilight series, they did the Edward version and then they did the Bella version.
Right.
Edward's version is literally twice the size. It's kind of stupid because we already know what happens. We want to know, like, yes, it's in his detail, but it didn't do as well as the female version. And I don't know why. I don't know. But I think that, like, we understand her more than we understand, like, a dude.
Well, it's because especially at the time when we read or when Twilight was like popular, it was for
Hmm.
younger women. You
Hmm.
know, it was from that perspective. So women can understand women.
You know what I need to read?
What?
Huh.
The 50 Shades of Grey, his version, and 50
Oh,
Shades of Blue.
yeah.
I heard it's pretty bad.
Did I tell
Yeah.
you guys that when I was in high school, Alex and I, do you guys remember Alex?
Yeah.
The
No.
little
I saw her recently actually.
She's so funny. She was in JRTC with me.
That's where I know her from. Every time I see her, she's friends with one of my friends. Every
That's
time I see her,
crazy.
she says hi to me and I'm like, "Where do I know you from?" Like,
Alex
I know you.
really always talk about you with her. But
Yeah, like that's where I know her from. I was like, how did like because I knew her. It's just like I just couldn't
mhm.
remember where from.
She actually, so we went to see 50 Shades of Grey, the first one, together in theaters.
Mhm.
And the thing about both of us is that we can't take shit seriously. And so it was just like the book is probably hilarious if I go in with that mindset, but it was like they would be like fucking on the screen and we'd cover our eyes and start laughing.
Oh
Dude,
my
borderline
god.
gross.
It is. It is. It's cuz the way that it's written cuz I've read the first one only like barely because it was very hard to get through.
Hmm.
Um and it's just like it's written like gross. Like there's just like a lot of things that it's like why would you write it that way?
You know how J.K. Rowling had this weird way of describing people really ickily?
Yeah.
It's got the
Yeah.
same vibe.
Oh, also, one of the girls, I'm just literally like throwing out like because we haven't caught up, but now we're just gonna catch up. Um, one of the girls at the party, her name is Caitlin, right?
Mhm.
And Caitlin gave me, okay, and with a C, not with a K.
Mm.
Okay, she gave me a corgi
Oh, how
pencil with a
cute.
C, and she's one of those spokes bitches for Clinique. Because you know how
Oh.
Clinique is like an older brand, like
Mhm.
they don't cater to like 20-year-olds. It's like past that.
Right.
She's like trying to get young people into it. And so she brought these big fat boxes of like Clinique shit. And she left the boxes there. And so I ran and I'm grabbing like fistfuls of fucking makeup. I have so much now.
That's so
Oh my
nice.
god. I mean,
I'm,
I
What's
I'm
her name?
used to use
Oh,
currently
Clinique.
Caitlin. Thank you, Caitlin, for keeping Gabby cute.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Caitlin.
I used to use Clinique, but I think the fragrance is a little too much for me, so like it makes me break out.
She hasn't given us any like she gave me uh mascaras. I'm wearing the black cherry. She gave us all little like black cherry lip balms, and then she gave
Oh.
us
Mhm.
a liquid exfoliator, which I need because I don't like
Oh,
to
that's
scrub my
always good.
face.
Yeah, you shouldn't scrub your face. Literally,
Yeah.
we one of our friends, his name is Gus. He's definitely not listening to this because
Oh,
it's
he
just not.
is.
Is he? Hi,
Yeah.
Gus. He literally. I'm gonna put you on blast, Gus, because you made. We literally talked about this last night too, because Danielle came over, his
His
girlfriend, by the way.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Zeta, his best friend. So they were
Okay.
both here at the house, and we were just chilling eating, and we were talking. Danielle mentions how he wanted like a skincare, and Sophie and I were like, oh my god, don't even get us started on Gus and his stupid skincare. And he was talking because we Sophie was talking to him on the phone, and she goes, hey,
Mhm.
like, do you want to help Gus because you like are really good with skincare stuff?
Here.
And I was like, yeah, okay, so like you need this and that, right? And Sophie's
Mhm.
like, well, that's what he's trying to get, but he doesn't know what. And I was just like, okay, bless you. Bless
Bless
you.
you.
So we gave him some suggestions, and so he finishes and he tells Sophie like, "Oh, I got this, and a scrub."
No, wait. So I was talking about purging, right? I was like,
Oh my god,
Bless
listen,
you.
I'm so
just eat it.
sorry.
You're good. So your skin is either not gonna like the products and it's just gonna break out, or it's gonna purge, because it's getting all of the stuff out.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What's gonna make me?" I have the audio.
Mhm.
What's gonna make me break out? The moisturizer or the exfoliating scrub?
And then, so not one time did we say scrub. We were like, you need a BHA or an AHA. You need an
Yeah.
acid like based uh exfoliant.
Yeah.
And he said scrub. He said scrub, and I was like,
What?
What? You bought a scrub?
my guy, if I would have wanted you to get a scrub, I would have told you to get a scrub.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? The fact that he's even talking about skincare though is already
Mhm.
massive for a
Yeah,
man.
it's because
So,
he's aging already. It's
oh
because
damn.
yeah, it's because he's a soccer player, so he's always outside.
In the sun. Oh
Yeah.
dude, damn. Yeah, no, that's rough. That's rough on the skin. Also, she gave us a fuck ton of these cleansing balms.
Oh, I love the cleansing balm. My mom has it.
There's two things
It's
if I were to
stress.
I have two things if I were to recommend anything to anybody. There's this oil BHA cleanser. Find it at a Japanese market. It's orange and it doesn't have a name. That's just what it says, like BHA cleanser, and it's an oil-based balm. The second is from Sunday Skin, and it is a watermelon ice makeup primer. In the summer, it saves my ass. You put it on, and it has a cooling effect, and it leaves your skin matte. So it's like on a really hot day, it like makes me feel like I washed my face after I washed my face.
Vale, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that I muted myself. That's nice. I really need to start getting into like more um skincare because like I mean I have my stuff and I really like my stuff, but I know like a lot of people keep asking me, and apparently I'm the expert now. So and then because
Apparently,
I'm
I'm the
going,
expert now. Like, as if you don't do a bunch of freaking research. We used to watch Hiram, like all the time. Well,
oh
we used
yeah,
to. Gabby, you're muted.
nope,
It
oh
was
yeah,
because I blew my nose. I love him.
We used to watch Dr. Jung, the one
oh
with the
yeah,
skincare line.
yeah.
Dr. Lee, the dermatologist.
Yeah, it's because I
Oh.
get into like phases where I get really into certain things. So like there was like a phase where I
Mhm.
was really into skincare. So I was looking at all of these dermatologists and doctors and estheticians talking about different things and what you should and shouldn't use. So I mean, obviously that stays with me.
Mhm.
Um, and now I'm going to Korea, so like everyone's like, "Oh my god, you need to send me stuff for my hands and
Oh
for my
yeah.
feet and stuff." And like, you're right, you're correct. I just hope that these guys are using it because like I'm sorry, but I'm so tired of like crusty men with like good-looking women. And like good
Yeah.
on you, Gus, that you're trying really hard because you should. Because you should.
And
And
because he
it's
cares
bad for
about
your
himself.
skin. Yes, it's
Yeah.
He
like
cares
it's
about
bad for
himself,
your
and that's
skin.
great.
I think that everybody on this earth, no matter what your skin is like, no matter what products you're able to buy, no matter your budget, you can go to a store and find basic, simple skincare things. And all you have to do is make sure that the first ingredient isn't alcohol.
Or water.
Because if you're like broke, usually those are the first two ingredients that you see on like skincare, but you can find stuff.
Yeah, like
Like
I mean, it's okay if it has. It's just like if it's the first, it's going to be too strong or it's gonna break you
cleansers,
out.
I don't think should have it, and neither should moisturizers. Now, a toner, if you're on the oily side, can have alcohol a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not that
no,
much.
it's fine. It's just you just need to be really careful with what you're putting on your face because like everyone's face is different, you know. Mine is very sensitive to smells, and so I don't use anything that's scented except for this one lotion that my friend from Korea got me. I don't know if she's listening, but hi Hedin if you are.
Mhm.
And
Um
it's actually really nice. It's
yeah, it's great. It's
it's
a
Hanyo.
gel. Yeah,
It's
it's like a
Hanyo.
gel.
It's a water based.
Yeah.
Well, send me
So,
a picture of it because
It's
I that way
green.
I can
Really
like
nice.
try because I love trying new
Mhm.
shit. This Clinique crap, I had like these giant zits coming out, and the
Mhm.
exfoliator got rid of them. I was like,
Nice.
Life is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, like our
There's
friend
another one.
she got us that, and then she got my
Mhm.
mom the Haniel, but like a rice.
Oh,
Rice
pudding.
water
wow.
toners and stuff. Dude, no, they're
She
really
was really
good. She
good.
also got us like a little, it was like a thing that was popular at the time where basically it's for acne, and it came with like a trial of like the serum that it uses, and you literally put it on your pimples, gone the next day.
No, I forget that I have
Ridiculous.
it, but it's nice.
It's ridiculous. And then she gave us like these little like pads that you're supposed to either
Uh-huh.
scrub or put on like a mask. They're so good. I use them
Bro,
on my exfoliation days.
you know what I want to get? I really want to get fucking pimple patches, the cute ones. I never have like a zit
We
like
had
that.
BTS ones.
See,
Oh
I
yeah, we had
want
BTS
those.
ones.
They're
Like not
cute.
even because I have like giant whiteheads all the time. They're rare, but like if even just to like put on my face for fun. Like
They're
Yeah, because
nice.
like I mean, the cuter ones don't work as well as the other ones, but like they're
Mhm.
just kind of fun to have on.
Mhm.
Okay, wait. I want you both. No, wait. That might be kind of pretend like you're arguing. Like look at each other. Like Val, you look this way, and Sophie, you look this way, and pretend like yeah, there you go, and pretend like you're arguing. Okay, this is actually like phenomenal. Wait. Okay.
Y'all, so I took you know how I left for a second? I took a sip of my coffee and I made it
Uh-huh.
wrong this morning. And I told Sophie like right before we came, but I was like rushing. I didn't mix the sugar. Like the sugar did not melt, so I just got a bunch of sugar. That's why I left because it's just
But
all sugar.
it's Colleen Hoover with two O's, right?
Yeah,
And the white bitch. I'm tagging her in it, and I'm gonna be like, look
Colleen
at what you're doing to us.
Colleen Hoover with 2 L's, 2 E's, and 2 O's.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna put Colleen Hoover. Why did you make this?
Okay, speaking of Colin Hoover, let's do the intro real quick because we're 12 minutes in and we haven't done it. Hi, guys. Welcome back to On About the podcast with a fuck, I forgot. Bookworm. A casual
I
reader and
forgot.
someone who can
Nah, dude.
barely read.
Nah, dude, you should just cut it off there and then put the music.
I'm your host, Vale, and we are going on about today. It ends with us. I
I'm
realized that I.
Sophie, and
Hold
that's
on, I'm not
Gabby.
done. I'm
I'm your
literally
host,
not
Vale.
done.
I
I'm
blame Colleen
literally
Hoover.
not done. Can
You
you
always
shut
not.
up? No, I said it every single one, and I have the proof because I edit. I have the proof. I usually say something along the lines of "This is what we're doing," and then I am joined today
Also,
by blah blah blah.
I don't see the little like vibey thingies, like the little heartbeats of the audio on my screen. I don't know if
I
that.
see it on mine.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
As
I
long
see
as
you on
somebody sees it, because I don't see it right now. So we'll see.
Yeah,
the heartbeat.
I see it on mine. Regardless, I guess I'm joined today by Sophie and Gabby. Sophie's
Hey.
literally ready to tussle. Like I don't know why she woke up this way.
I want to
Why
fight. I
in
want to
the
tussle.
world
That's
I
a good
don't
rap
know.
song.
would you say tussle?
Leave me alone. I'm gonna cut you out entirely.
Val's literally a Looney Tunes character. Basically, she's Yosemite Sam. Yavarman, you want to tussle?
Oh my god.
Valid. I didn't think about it that way.
So we're gonna be going on about, like I said, it ends with us, and I realized that in the last episode, so I started editing it yesterday. I finished editing all the Harry Potter ones. Um
Woo,
and
Val.
the last episode that I was editing was the first It Ends With Us. I kept on saying This Is Us. Like I
I
kept on calling it This Is Us.
no, and see
That's
that's
a
the
show.
thing because there's a lot of shows that sound like that right now. It ends with us. This is us.
The
There
Last of
is
Us.
The Last of Us. Isn't there a show that's literally just us? Like I literally. Or
Yeah, I'm
no,
pretty
that's
sure.
you. That's you.
Or the movie
Close
Us.
enough.
Yeah, no, literally all these like weird, names are going around. I've said it ends with us. Like and I'm like, okay, good. But there are times where I'm like The Walking Dead. What's that new one that came out, the zombie show?
Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I say that a lot. When I'm talking about it with Zeke, he's like, "Oh, you're like reading books about the video game?" I'm like, "No." It's
I keep doing that too because I'm also watching it. So like I'm
Is Zeke
it ends
listening to our podcast?
Zeke does, but Zeke also is like busy.
Ziki does
He's
not
not.
like the podcast.
I'm a
Also,
Flag
if you
California.
guys do want to hear, we did one episode of a podcast. We have other episodes, but that are unreleased and unedited. But there's one, and our podcast is Uneducated, Uninformed Opinions, and it's literally just one episode, and you can see what Zeke and I are like behind the scenes.
I
was
forgot
fun.
about that. Like I knew the name. I knew that you had another one, but I forgot the name.
Well, it was just bad because we always had to use my boyfriend's recording equipment at the time.
hmm
And it was like we were always free to do it, but he would always be like, "Oh, I need my stuff for my music, or I need this for that." And
It's not
so
even
it was,
good.
yeah, exactly. And
This is boyfriend slander. Last one or 2 ones ago. Yeah, the Harry Potter one we slammed Sophie's ex-boyfriend, now we're slamming yours.
We
I
did.
agree.
Yeah, you said that he was two-faced.
Oh,
So
You know, it is kind of crazy that it's like we say all this wild shit and Val hears it a second time and remembers it. We got to be careful, Sophie.
no, straight up. And because I edited like 3 episodes, I was just like, oh, there was a lot that we said or a lot we talked about. It's kind of funny. Dude, I'm really sad about my coffee.
you've been heard.
I needed an extra blanket.
Okay.
It gets so fucking cold
I
in my
know.
room.
Dude, this room is really temperamental because our fan doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this cute blanket Vale got me that I'm using.
Oh,
I don't know if you can read it.
Val.
I
No,
cried.
you can't. Well, I can't read it, but yeah, my mom cried too.
Oh, damn it. You know what? This is all very sad, but this is all so exciting. And I saw a post the other day that made me think of you, Sophie, because it was like, it was on one of those weird quote pages that I keep following for On About, just because I'm like, why not? It was like, why is it that siblings are allowed to grow up and leave? Like, I've lived with you my entire life and now you're just gone. And I was like, ouch. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's because I'm older and I have to.
that's what I
So,
keep telling
but-
Isabella, but she's still mad about it.
Dude, the fact that she speaks kind of freaks me out.
I know.
Oh my god. She literally
Will not shut up.
she won't, yeah, exactly. She won't shut the hell up. She also, funny enough, I'm like, "Oh, because when I was a kid, I thought that it was like the best thing since sliced bread that my dad was in the military. I was like, my dad's kind of cool." And now that Emiliano is like in the Navy, you know, you should have seen the way that she was looking at him because they video chatted me. And she was like, if the mic is his arm, she was like holding it. And she was like putting her head on
Aw.
him. And I was like, oh, do you love like your brother? You know, your sibling? She was like, yes, I do. But not as much as I miss you. I was like, yeah.
That's right.
Hug you, Emiliano.
It's because there's a
Exactly.
difference. You know, there's like a difference with your siblings that are like sisters and brothers, right? Like there's a different relationship there.
We have an ongoing gag because Emiliano has all this money saved up from basic training, right?
Mhm.
So fucking funny. He's like, yeah, I could probably take you out to dinner now because I have my own money. I'm like, oh yeah, where do you want to go? And he's like, Chili's. I was like, I'm sick of going to fucking Chili's. All you ever want to do is go to fucking Chili's. And he was like, okay, fine. Well, where do you want to go? And I was like,
Chili's.
I was like, we should go to the American Girl Doll Cafe because when we were little, my dad forced him to go with me. He was like 6 and I was like 10. he had to sit there and drink these little cups and like play with dolls. And I was like, but here's the thing, we can get drunk now. We can get drunk and go into the American Girl Doll Cafe and you're
Very
paying
true.
for it. And he was like, okay, fine.
He said yes.
He loves me because I used to pick
How
his
could
ass
you
up.
not love her?
I'm a good sister. I'm a good sister. Listen, I'm
Mhm.
a ride or die. Nobody believes me though.
I've been there. Dude, literally yesterday we were talking. We have been talking for a really long time, but we'll finish after this. So we can start on the book. Yesterday I was telling Danielle and Zeta because you know how we always say that you and Kayla kind of match energies? So Kayla is always telling Danielle that if like cuz they are the ones that match energy now here.
Uh-huh.
Kayla's always like, if you think we're cool, if Gabby was here, we would fuck shit up. Like
You're
they're
lying.
always no straight up. And I was telling Danielle last night, and so she was like, "Yeah, Kayla's always saying that to me. Like I don't know like what it is." And I was like, "It's because you don't understand. Gabby's like a different type of fun. Like you and Kayla are fun together. Kayla's fun, you're fun, and then together you're a different type of fun entirely.
Yeah.
But you, Kayla, and Gabby together, oh my god, I don't even know. Like it'd be something else." completely. And then we were, because we were trying to get her to go to Korea and Japan and all that stuff in the
Yeah.
summer. And she's like, it's because I don't want to travel alone. I don't know what. And I was like, dude, just take one for the team. Like, just go. It's fine.
100%.
She's never really done like the whole travel thing.
Or you know what? How about if you guys do that, we can really like, I'm talking like we plan it, and because I brought some of my bitch ass friends on this trip, bring some of yours and come here and we'll go to Disney and we'll do all that. And
And
like
that's another thing, because she
trying.
really wants to go to Disney.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard.
that way like
Eli
we
already
don't...
said yes.
Okay. Okay.
Eli said yes to flying. So
I
To
love
Korea.
that. No,
Yeah.
yeah, and plus I've already put in I told Sam I was like, "Oh, like how big of a party can you bring in for free for Disney?" And she's like, "I can bring 4 people."
Mhm.
So her and then plus 4. So if
So
it's
5.
yeah. I mean, so somebody will have to pay for something.
Mhm.
But she can get us discounts and stuff like that. So,
All right, sounds good. We can plan that.
okay.
Next
Literally
year
it's
instead of Vegas.
21 minutes and we've just been catching up, gal. I like that though. We never talk. It's always work. I'm like,
Well, yeah.
that's okay. That's fine. But like, damn it. Maybe we need to start even earlier. I'll get up at 7 just so we can have banter time and recording time.
I mean, we can if you want. It's up to you. You're the one that has to wake up the earliest.
7 and then you guys 7, 8, 9. So it would be 9 for you. Is that too early for you guys?
That would be 12 for me.
No, it would not. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, not, I'm just talking, well, this is our last one that you're in the States. Holy crap.
This is our last episode when I'm in my room.
Okay, which means that I do have to start getting up at 5. Which means if I want
But
banter time.
we should alternate.
Well, if
though,
you
'cause,
do-
like sometimes we should have you wake up early. I mean, me and Gabby would have to wake up early regardless. Like, because I think it'll
The
be
different okay, but like the only thing is that if you guys wake up early, that's not gonna fuck up the rest of your routine. Like you can wake up early, take a nap, and go again. If I stay up late, that means that I have less time to sleep because my work schedule, I have to wake up at a certain time. You get me?
No,
I
but,
would
like, if we
rather
wake up
just
early.
me wake up early because I have to get up early anyway for my classes. So if I get up at like 5 or 6 or whatever, I can do my morning shit. I can go to
Mhm.
school. I can take a nap and I can go to work. So it's fine for me to stay up or get up early. And if that's the easiest for Val, who's doing all the editing, I'm like,
Hey, let's get into the book. Like I have been itching to talk about these damn chapters. I was shaking, shivering. I am going to put
shiver me timbers.
Guys, I'm not joking. Like, there's a heavy trigger warning for abuse, rape, sexual abuse, regular abuse, physical abuse. There is heavy trigger warnings for these chapters. It is very intense, like to the point I have never been through physical abuse, but reading these chapters, I was sobbing, I was shaking, I felt triggered, and I haven't even been through this specific type of abuse. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, seriously, if you guys do not want to listen to these chapters, completely fine. If you think that it's going to trigger you, leave. You can watch the next book. It's really not a big deal. Or listen to the
Yeah.
next book. So
I mean, still download it.
Yeah.
still download it so that we get the
But
we
like
get the
don't
point.
listen to it.
Yeah, like it's totally fine. We don't mind. Though I am reading it so that you don't have to, and that way you guys don't have to buy the book, because I know a lot of people don't want to buy the book for multiple reasons. I didn't want to buy the book for the exact same reasons, but I took the L for everyone else. So last time we left off,
was it chapter 7 that we left off on?
we did chapter 5.
Oh,
We
okay.
left off on chapter 5.
Okay,
So last
good.
time we left off, they were talking about Lily was talking about how she was not enough to change Ryle to want to be her boyfriend, and she needs to just get that into her head. And then she's like a boss ass bitch that's like busy. So we're on chapter 6 now.
Okay.
Let's go through the summary.
Let me
chapter
pull up
6.
the
It's not that she's not
chapter.
enough. It's just that he's too little.
Yeah.
Oh god. I have some personal issues with this chapter. And it's
6?
not even because of the rape, and it's not because of the abuse, it's not because of the beating, because unfortunately, I do pick books that usually have that kind of subject matter. because I
Right.
love a dark brooding start and I love an overcome kind of story.
Are you
What
talking about chapter 6?
I'm talking about the whole the section that we're doing
Alright, cool.
today. The thing that pissed me off the most is that I see a lot of like love bombing in
Oh,
betwixt these
yes.
chapters. And for some reason, for me, it's like, oh, everything's so great for you, Lily. Well, it's not. Like, I'm
Dude,
like, it
okay.
doesn't sound good. None of it sounds good. Like,
So y'all remember I have my little like color-coded things that I have, right?
Mhm.
So if you start looking, the farther it goes back, there are more pinks. And pinks, if you don't remember, are like my, oh, I like this, or it's cute, or like something that I actually enjoy is happening type of thing, or
yeah.
foreshadowing.
Mhm.
That's what wrecked me. That is what really got me. And when we get there, like, I'll get a little bit more into it, but it's I was skeptical of this book from the start, and if I can give Colleen Hoover one thing, is that she got me. Like,
No,
she
Val,
did it.
don't tell her that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone. I take back some of what I said last time where I don't think that she's a bad writer. I actually think she's a pretty good writer because the fact that she got me to where I was, to the point where I was shaking and shivering and freaking out even though I had never gone through this, means that she wrote it well enough that I could understand the feelings that the characters were going through.
Mhm.
So completely take back, I don't think she's a bad writer. I just think that this is a really difficult subject matter for people who have never been through it and who are too young to understand how the ramifications of what this is going to do to them later on, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
chapter 6, it's a very short chapter. Very short chapter. So it's 15 days later, Lily opens her shop. During this time, she has been busy working and has not seen Ryle at all. Her first customer, however, happens to be Ryle, so he just kind of like shows up at the flower shop and he buys flowers. Alyssa is there, but she doesn't know of the attraction between Ryle and Lily, and unbeknownst to Alyssa, Ryle proceeds to buy a bouquet of lilies for Lily.
Is
Lily
that even
is
her favorite
irritated.
flower?
No, hold on. Lily is irritated by him given their last meeting, but is flattered by the attention. So for this chapter, I have very few notes, and I picked up the whole thing that he was like, "Oh, I like these random flowers, and they're lilies," right? So I marked that, and it was just like a random vase that she had on display. And then she says like, "Oh, that's kind of ironic that he just picked out the lilies," and then he literally writes down on the note like, "Hey, these are for this store."
Mhm.
And Alyssa is like, "My brother's a fucking idiot. He didn't even write the right
Oh my god.
address."
Girl, that's not ironic that he chose the lilies.
That's so on purpose.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so chapter 6, I actually had I had a couple of, well, it wasn't really chapter 6 now then, was it?
Oh, well, it's okay. Is it chapter 7?
No, it's not chapter 7. It was
What is
actually
it?
one of the chapters before.
Oh, okay, go
Um
for it.
so it's right, it's a flower shop on 152, page 152. It's like he like compliments her and he compliments the shop and she's like, oh well, maybe I'm fine with him being my first customer, just because of the praise. And I literally wrote some Val shit. I was like, literally, you'd throw everything out the window if someone was like, well, you did a really good job. You'd be like, okay, well, I guess. Like,
I guess you're fine. I think you're okay.
yeah, she also says a very funny part: wars, famine, gun violence, it's all his fault.
Oh, I like that.
One of my favorite lines, because same, like that's what I do. I blame them for everything.
Yeah, and it was because she was upset with him. There's another part on chapter 6 where we see the actual note that he wrote for the flowers.
Mhm.
And the note, Alyssa reads it out loud, and it says, "Make it stop."
Which is, I think, very like it's kind of cute in a weird way. In a I mean, he's thinking of her. I mean, it's very raunchy, you know what I mean? It's a raunchy.
I understand that the issue is that, once again, she doesn't want a one night stand, and he is pressuring her into it. If this was a different situation, if she was like into one night stands and like so was he, and the reason that they weren't going to do it is for like, oh, I don't have time, or like something that's like trivial, not because she doesn't want
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
or because that's just like not her thing, then it would be a different situation. And I think this would be like, "Ooh, okay."
Yeah.
But because she does not want a one night stand and he doesn't want a relationship, like it just
Mhm.
makes it so that so that it gives it a different intonation, different like undertone.
Yeah. Just a giant missed high five. And
Like
chapter 7 really shows like why I'm just on edge. I'm waiting for him to fuck up. Like,
I was on edge the entire time. Like I knew it was going to be bad and it just got worse. So, chapter 7. Lily takes a former colleague to Alyssa's birthday party to make Ryle jealous. At the party, Lily's attention is drawn to a piece of art on the walls. She slowly realizes it's the photo Ryle took of her during the first night they met. Ryle approaches her, appearing upset that she had brought a date. Lily grows exasperated and goes to the rooftop. Ryle follows Lily out on the rooftop, where Lily tells him to stop paying attention to her, to stop flirting, taking pictures, and sending her flowers because he waited too long and too many pieces of her are invested in him. She's
mhm.
about to exit the party when Ryle stops her by grabbing her, taking her to his bedroom, where they kiss. He confesses that he wants to prove to her that he is interested in exploring a relationship with her.
No, he's
Lily
not.
asks him not to sleep with her to do so, and they spend the night together without having sex. The next morning, Lily tells Alyssa that she's met Ryle months before. Alyssa cautions Lily in front of him, telling her he doesn't have the best track record when it comes to relationships. As her friend, Alyssa is obligated to warn Lily because that's what friends do. Ryle
Mhm.
tells Lily he's busy, but sets a time to see her again. So this chapter is where I started to kind of turn on him. So I was like, okay, fine. People can change. He can totally be like, I actually do want to try a relationship. Clearly, like, I am interested in more than just having sex with you. And even though, like, this wasn't, like, what I used to do, like, I'm open to trying to explore this with you.
And like we've seen it happen, you know. We've seen like in real life, like a fuckboy turn into like a simp.
Hmm.
I agree. It's possible. It's
Hmm.
possible. However, um for me, I just think that it's too quick of a change.
No,
It's
I
too,
agree.
it's too
I
quick of
agree.
a change, and then later on, in the later chapters, I think she caves too soon.
I think so too. I was really mad about that
Yeah, I
actually.
was like, it's been like a day.
3 seconds.
It's
Like,
been
you
like a
mean
day.
one time he doesn't sleep with you and that's enough to prove to you that he doesn't just want you for sex? I fully expected her to have sex with him and then him be like, "Just kidding. I don't want a relationship."
So I've also done. Well, we'll get into it later, but I just think that what's the star sign that rules February?
Aquarius.
Okay, well, she's an Aquarius. Then I did like the month math in one
Mm.
of the chapters. It was like
Oh, yeah, he mentioned and he's a Libra.
yeah. Well, Atlas is a Libra.
Is he?
Atlas is the one who's the Libra, and
Ah, okay.
she's an Aquarius. So Atlas and her, they get along. Air signs. I don't know this, dudes.
He feels like a Leo.
Or a Capricorn. I could,
Sophie.
I, I could see Capricorn, but
Or
like
like a Gemini.
no. Now, see, you know what I could definitely see? Oh my
Mm.
gosh. Okay, so like definitely an air rising, like a Libra rising, and
Mhm.
he's a Capricorn sun and a Leo moon.
Ooh.
I bet you that's his chart. Like,
Ooh, that's not great.
yeah, that's the vibes he's giving me. Anyways, I also when this chapter finished, chapter 7, they cuddle and they go to bed, right?
Mhm.
He's like,
Which is
"Oh,
sweet, you know? It's
I'm
okay.
like, okay, that's kind of nice." He does forcibly remove her dress and pull her
That
into
I had an
bed.
issue with.
I
I
didn't
had a
like that.
huge issue with that. Like, he didn't even ask her. He could've said, like, "Hey, do you want, like, one of my t-shirts? Do you care, like, if you're sleeping like that?" Like, no, he just ripped her dress off and made her sleep in her underwear. Like, what was that?
Literally ridiculous. I did not like that. In the morning, they look like they've slept together.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm, mhm.
and he comes out and he's like, "Oh, why are you talking about me, sis?" And I was like, "You're such a fucking idiot." Do you know how much more information he would have gotten if he had just stayed behind the wall and listened? He would
I
have
know.
gotten he would have gotten Lily's perspective, he would have gotten his sister's perspective, and he could have figured out exact ways to change. But oh
Or
no.
manipulate.
Exactly. But oh no, he's like his ego comes out and he wastes a cup of coffee and pours it down the sink and is like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be talking about me like that." I'm like, "Shut the fuck
You
up."
know, and I thought it was really stupid because Alyssa says, "Lily's my best friend. I need to warn her." Like, that's what friends do. And he's like, well, having trust and faith in each other, that's what siblings do. I'm sorry, but if Sophie's a bitch, if Sophie's someone that's going to go date someone who is like in a serious mindset, like where they're like, I want a relationship, and Sophie's like, I just want to have fun, I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell that person, I don't care that she's my sister. We've had this conversation multiple times. If you're gonna be a shitty person, it doesn't
Exactly.
matter that you're related.
Exactly.
And Sophie would do the same thing. Like, if it was me and I was trying to like string someone along, like maybe we'd have a conversation first and be like, hey, like, don't do that. But if it gets to a point where like this guy or this person is like coming up to us and they're like, hey, your sister, like, I really care about her, like, what do you think? Like, I'm gonna be honest. And
Dude,
like, I don't think she would be butthurt. Like, I think we both understand that that's just like something that would need to happen.
I have lost friendships because it's like I don't care about the bond, unless it was like I always do the circumstance right. But if you're
Mhm.
like a cheater or you're like doing something you shouldn't be doing, I'm the first one to tell the other person. And that's gotten
Mhm.
me into a lot of trouble. But usually I'm like, you're making this person feel like really shitty about themselves. So I'm going to tell them that they don't deserve it. And then
Mhm.
the person who's doing it gets mad, just like
Like,
Lionel
okay, then
did,
just don't do it. Like,
because
don't do it then.
they're telling the truth. Because she was
Exactly.
telling the truth, he's like, "Why would you tell her that?" Like,
Like, the fact that he's so defensive about his past, like, he could
oh
have
my
just been
god.
like, you know what, you're right, I used to be like that. I'm trying to prove that I've changed, but instead he's trying to shut her up. That's a
Yeah.
red flag.
So in 50 Shades, I do kind of see that there is a mommy issue in all of
Oh yeah.
this. And for the rich man who has a rich family, I feel like he also has some sort of mommy issues. And like I just see the parallel of Christian Grey and Ryle. There's
Yeah, I see that.
and I think the thing they have in common is blatant narcissism. And of course, mommy issues because the way that they are around sex is weird.
I'm wondering what his issue is. Like, what is his trauma? Like, why is he like this? Like, I'm so very curious. Like,
Oh.
because the chapters we've read, they haven't mentioned it quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's like abandonment issues or like what it is. Like, why is he so closed off? Something is up there, and I hope that they talk about it in part two. So let's keep going. Chapter
Mm-hmm.
8. Lily hasn't talked to Ryle since the day after the party. She decides to go back to her old notebooks. I was really excited about this. I really like the Ellen chapters. I think they're my favorite.
I do too.
According to the diary entries she's reading, it's been several weeks since Lily has started spending time with Atlas, but she knows little about him. Lily's worried about him living at the abandoned house without electricity, especially as it's getting colder. Bless you.
I'm so sorry. Let me mute
It's
myself.
okay. She resolves to get him more blankets, and as she and Atlas keep growing closer, Lily realizes he has turned into her best friend. Her father's abuse made it so that she spent her childhood relatively isolated.
Mm.
While gardening with Lily, Atlas asks her why she likes gardening. Lily replies that plants growing feels like a reward for loving them the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Atlas sees plants and people as alike. Without care, people, like plants, have no use. Interpreting this to be about him, Lily
Mm-hmm.
mentions that some plants can thrive by themselves. In her entry, Lily becomes aware that she's growing even more attracted to him. In the final entry, Lily narrates another instance of abuse perpetrated by her father on her mother, during which she found her father choking her mother. Lily tries to intervene but gets thrown off by her father and ends up needing stitches. The next day, Atlas confronts her and shows her his own scars. Later, Lily decides to take him the blankets she'd forgotten to give him. The abandoned house where Atlas lives is so cold that Lily asks him to come sleep on the floor of her room. She
Mm-hmm.
locks the door so her parents won't know. Atlas would only need to stay until he graduates, which is 6 months away. He
Mm-hmm.
has decided he will join the military after, since he has no family or other options. Lily reflects that her father has taught her uh, wrongly about people like Atlas when he said that unhoused were lazy and deserved their fate. So this chapter, again, I really like Ellen chapters.
Also, can I do a quick pause to tell you about something very cute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, like this has nothing to do with the book, but Sam, the one who can
Okay.
get us into Disney,
Mhm.
she just posted her and her man's, they just got engaged. And
Oh,
every year they go to
Oh.
Sweethearts
congrats,
Night
man.
at Disneyland.
Mhm.
And so they pick a theme. Last year they were Prince Philip and Sleeping Beauty.
Mhm.
Oh,
And she kept it a secret and secretly like she works for Disney. She works at the parks. and Disneyland parks post her on Instagram. Like that's how big she is in like the Disney community. She loves it.
Ooh, she's a Disney influencer.
She's a Disney adult, but she's sweet, But she's been keeping it under wraps. She's like, "Ooh, I hope you're all ready to see like our theme. Like, what did we pick?" And they did Carl and Ellie, and they have their
Aww.
adventure book, and
That's so cute.
he literally gives me faith. He's a Scorpio man. She's a Virgo. Already, it kind of
Oh
works.
wait, that's perfect because Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they have that same vibe. He's a Lego dude, she's a Disney gal. They get along very well. And for an
How
engagement
old is she?
ring, she's our age. She's 23.
They sound like millennials.
No, dead ass. Oh, very much so. They also like have been influenced by Christian living, but like they're very lax about it. They're not annoying. They're really cool. You'll meet them when you come.
Mhm.
But she was like, "Oh, like I love pink, 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 pink. That's my favorite fucking color." And so he got her a rose gold engagement ring, and I was like,
Oh, that's so sweet.
I fucking hate, but like I love them so much. Like,
I like them. I think I follow her.
you know what? We needed that sweet story before we got into all of this. Okay, continue.
So, before we go on to like the more serious topics, there's a part. Okay, so like when they're talking about gardening, that really grossed me out. So Atlas is putting the what's called the
Compost?
yeah onto her plants, and she tells him, like that's cow manure, and they're laughing, and he's rubbing it all over her. And she thought it was cute, and like she said that she's never been more turned on, and I was disgusted.
Bro, she's touch starved. That's what it is. She's a poor girl.
That
Bitch,
reminds
poop on
me
you,
of
though.
the movie He's All That.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who throws shit at someone. Horse poop.
Yeah.
Oh, the He's All That. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
And it was
Madison
like,
Ray throws it at Tanner.
it was like cute and quirky, and that shit.
Yeah, like that's not funny. That is not funny at all.
Wait, I would be so pissed. I would be so fucking pissed. Like I would not talk to that person.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
throw a bitch fit.
I would throw a
Literally.
bitch fit.
I may not be a white woman, but I will do it.
Like it's because how are you even okay. Point is, that was really gross. I thought that was really gross. It's supposed to be like this cute moment.
I got
No,
chills.
it's cute. I don't like it.
I got chills.
Why couldn't they have done like literally anything else? He could have like been throwing seeds at her or something. I don't literally anything else.
Dirt, man.
Yeah, regular dirt would have been better.
Well, also
or like a mud or something.
he offered to help put it down
Right. Which is
without
nice of
knowing
him.
what it was.
Yeah, that's fucked up on her part because he wasn't wearing
tell
gloves.
him that it was cow manure.
Yeah, bitch.
Like, so, I mean, the fact that he rubbed it on her, I would have done the same thing. If I was like, Val, let me do it. Gabby, wait, no, shut up. Like, I'll do it for you. Okay. And then you tell me after that it's cow shit, like, I'm gonna touch you with my hands. Like, I'm going to smear
That's what
it
you
on your
get.
back. Like,
Yeah. So we also find out that like he's going to the Marines and he's leaving in 6 months. So we find that out, and then we get to the part where her mom is being choked. Basically, the mom like gets home early. Atlas has to leave obviously because they don't know that he's in the house. She goes into the garage because it's snowing and she has stuff in the car, and it's literally just for that reason. Usually her dad parks inside of the garage. The dad gets home, sees the car, gets pissed, like super angry, starts honking at the mom to get out of the fucking way. Lily says that she could see her mom like freeze up, like she has that moment of like, oh no, like this is bad. And she tells her go inside. So she does, and when she comes back out, like he has her mom on like the trunk of the car or like the hood of the car,
Oh, funny. I don't know. Yeah.
Choking her, and Lily starts freaking the fuck out. So she goes over, jumps on his back trying to get him off, and he throws her off, and I think she blacks out, right? Like she just like passes out.
She hits her head on something and she's like disoriented because it's like one of those things where the pain doesn't set in right away. So she's like just in shock.
Yeah.
Dude, men are so fucking emotional. Jesus Christ.
And you know what it is?
She just parked in the garage.
Like, calm the fuck down.
He's a control freak and he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And so those things like combined, like I just know anger is one thing, but anger with alcohol, it's really bad. There's a lot of fights that happen like that.
Dude, like I don't know if you guys know the statistic, but during the Super Bowl, that's when police officers get the most domestic abuse or
Oh,
domestic
100%.
violence calls.
100%.
And people are talking about that on TikTok, and they were talking about the Tubi commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
And
keep
that
seeing that, but I had no idea what was going on.
yeah, so the commercial, it kind of made it look like your streaming service, like you were going onto their channel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and that probably caused a lot of issues with some people.
Oh,
You
Like
know,
it was an interesting idea to be, but like a lot
but
of
like,
a
yeah,
lot of
the
women were put in danger.
yeah.
so I
Like,
know
and it's
that,
not their
like,
fault. I mean,
yeah, I know that, like, feminists right now, I think that at least the older ones, the things that they protest the most are the Super Bowl, porn websites, um, any sort of like giant sporting event, really, because that's like people go get drunk and then their team loses and they go and they beat their wives. My dad will get verbally abusive if the Celtics lose, and I'm like, Dad,
Yeah.
there's like a life outside of it. But the thing is, there isn't for him.
Isn't it funny? And I love this discourse because isn't it funny how women get made fun of for liking boy bands? And then here are men with their cute little sports teams and they're breaking shit because they lose.
I
Shut the
know.
fuck up.
Like
When
at
BTS
least
lost the Grammy and they keep losing because the Grammys fucking suck. Fuck you, Grammys.
Rigged.
Yeah, like the only thing I did was like, oh man, like not again. Or like this last time I was like, of course they didn't because fuck you, Grammys. But did I break something? Did I break the TV? No, because I'm a fucking normal human.
at least I am a fan of people of the opposite gender. For those of you who are straight,
Yeah.
I'm a fan
Yeah.
of people who are the opposite gender. So like you straight men that are into sports, why do you want to watch men in tight pants
Oh, your little
wrestle?
boyfriend.
There's actually a thing that it says
Nothing wrong with being gay. I'm just
there's
talking about
Nothing
the
wrong
nothing
people
with
who are
being
like
gay. We're
annoying
just yeah.
um
or making fun of you.
there's like that thing though where it's like men, there are certain men that don't like women. And there are men that
So funny.
love to be around women, that understand them and know how to talk to them, and they have friendships with them. And then there
Mhm.
are the men that don't want to talk to them unless it's for sex. They would
Mhm.
rather hang out with men, do things with men, watch men. Women are just like this weird thing it's an
Dictate your
object.
thoughts.
Yeah. And I think that, oh my God, I hate the dad because he's the embodiment of a lot of problems in society. And
Because he's also a politician.
exactly. And in this, they say, like, police records say, like, anything that has to do with rape, anything that has to do with domestic violence, anything that has to do with that, it is they like I don't know how to say this without it making it sound so dramatic, but they label it as like it is a blind rage. It is a crime of hate. When they look at rape victims and the long-lasting effects, and they look at, beating victims and the long-lasting effects, in that moment, like, the guy had an unbridled just like hate. It's a hate, like,
Crime.
yeah, exactly. And they say that, if you stab somebody, sometimes it's self-defense, sometimes it's this, but there's no other way to interpret, like, domestic abuse or rape. Like, it is a crime of just blind rage.
Yeah.
And men can feel that. And it's like women can feel that too, but, like, I don't think.
Yeah, like how am I angry and I'm sitting in my room crying and you're angry and beating someone up? Like,
If
I
I was
think
like,
you have
all I do is
issues.
I
cry
know.
when I'm
Like,
mad.
Look, it's
let's
because I get frustrated. So like I remove myself from the situation like a mature person. Like sometimes we'll like, we get upset and like we say stuff. But like the mature thing to do is not to go and punch someone in the fucking face. Like you're
Mhm.
stupid.
like how is it gonna help?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
How
It
is that
literally
gonna
does
help?
not help.
Like, let's just remember that anger and rage is an emotion. So like
So
yeah,
you're
we're
emotional.
emotional and sad
You know
and
where our
sassy.
emotions come from on our period?
Testosterone.
The moon?
Testosterone.
Oh,
Aside from the moon.
Testosterone. You have a heightened level of testosterone, and that's what makes you emotional.
you
Isn't that
know,
something?
and well, I could get into biology about this, but there are lots of psychologists that say we have grown so far from our roots. There's no longer a need of hunting or gathering. There's no longer, those basic instincts that humans used to have. And
Mhm.
that causes some sort of rise in these types of emotions, depression, anxiety, all these other things, right? These
Yep.
illnesses, alcoholism, all this stuff.
Mhm.
Some people were just born and this is weird, with more of a hunter-gatherer instinct, just like some people have a fight or flight response. Some
Mhm.
people are born with the more aggressive personality,
Mhm.
and some are more relaxed, and some are more submissive. And the reason why there's, I think, a lot of like why sports are awesome for men is because it gives them a chance to really go full feral, you know.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why women love, wineries, because we like to be back in our picking our grapes and drinking our wine back when the golden days. Like,
Yeah.
sense of community, sense of that. But I mean, that's why there's so much like male problems. I feel like they have this like innate, and this is making me sound like I'm one of those people that, oh, women are just driven by instinct to have babies. No, that's not really what I'm trying to say. But
Mhm.
for men who I think are more creatures of instinct and action, where women are more thinking and feeling, um, I just think that like I'm going way off topic. Why didn't either
It's
of you
okay.
stop me?
It's because I was trying to be polite. Okay, look.
Okay, go.
What she's trying to say is basically that there are obviously going to be biological reasons for the way that we act, right? It just my point was basically just that it pisses me off that we're judged for having emotional reactions when they're clearly emotional too for different ways.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine. Being emotional is not a bad thing.
Mm-mm.
You just need to take it out healthily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 9. It's a short chapter.
I'm
In
so
the
sorry.
present day, it's okay. In the present day, Lily is moved by her entries and sympathetic to her mother because Lily hasn't really thought about everything that she had to go through before her father died.
Mhm.
Ryle comes to see her that evening, tired from his surgery. He falls asleep. When he wakes up, they have sex for the first time, and Ryle tells her that he's addicted to her. So,
Gross.
like I said, one chapter in between where she's like, "Don't have sex with me," and I will believe you. And then the next like literal day, she's like, "Okay, now it's time."
For
So
2 minutes?
stupid. I dead ass. I think it's only
For
been
2
like a
minutes?
couple days.
Like, okay, so quick thing. So there was like a part, and this is where it started to take a turn for me. So this is the
Take a
first
turn for me.
pink that I have in a while. And
Okay.
it's because he says to her, "I sleep better when I sleep next to you. Is it okay that I'm here?" And I think that is just so sweet.
You don't even
Like
know her.
genuinely. No. But like sometimes people have soothing effects on you, right? So that specific line, I was like, that's nice. Like I can get behind that.
You know what?
You
I need
sue
to
me.
I need to
Fact.
pull up a fucking picture and you need to add this in and I'm going to send it to you. And it is
Yeah, send it to me.
it's
You sued
the
me.
Go ahead, Sophie.
But
Sorry.
if we sleep again together in the same bed, you're getting drop kicked off.
What?
What do you mean what?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
You know what a drop kick off?
No,
is?
what are you talking about?
That you
If we
sued
sleep
me.
in the same, why would I? What
She's
does that have
going
to
to
do with
kick
You
you
anything?
off
sued
the
me.
bed.
Because you're saying some people have soothing whatever. I'm saying you are a soothing person to me. You know how to handle my panic attacks. You know that. That's why I didn't give that much context.
Hmm.
And if we were to sleep in the same bed, you're getting kicked off.
Okay, that's fine, but like that's different, Sophie. Like when you're dating someone versus like a
You're
relative.
not dating.
Like no, but like they like each other. Look,
You
I'm
like-
not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that the line, I liked that line.
I
Like
don't.
I like that one line. That's
I
it.
don't like. No, it's icky.
Okay, wait. Where is it? Oh my god. Oh my
Well,
god. Okay, wait.
wait.
So we had only one sleepover together. Val and I have been friends for so long, and we've only had one sleepover together. And if I'll send it to you, but it's literally like what she looks like asleep is just a ball of hair.
Oh, I was like, what is
It-
that?
It's
It was
literally
that-
you to the
that was
side with your
That was the night of Adele and macaroni, right?
That was
Her
the
brown
night of
macaroni.
Adele and macaroni.
We slept on the floor that day.
We
You
did
didn't have a
sleep on the
choice.
floor.
Yeah, that was when the house flooded. Okay, I got it. So again, they have sex. I physically put the book down and I was mad.
I was upset too.
Like, girl, what? That proved nothing. It proved nothing.
She
Oh,
just
it made me so angry.
cracked. She cracked so hard. Gross. I wrote in big fat letters, gross.
Yeah, it was a moment where I was like, Lily, ugh, like, am I supposed to root for you? Or
No, dude, she's dumb.
yeah, well, yeah.
Like
Chapter 10.
she's being manipulated, of course.
Yeah.
But
Here I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like, I genuinely am. Like, starting
Uh-huh.
at this chapter, I started with like, okay, maybe this isn't what I think it's going to be. Maybe the whole point is that maybe he was abused and she saw her mom being abused. So they end the cycle of, because in Spanish this book is called Cerrando el Ciclo,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's when I was like, oh, it ends with us. It's like closing the cycle of abuse. And that's kind of what it's supposed to be. Okay, I understand that. Got that. So here I started to really give it like benefit of the doubt. Maybe something good's gonna happen. Maybe something good's gonna come out of this.
Ay, Dios.
We'll see why that was a mistake.
I
We'll
thought
see why.
that the sex scene was corny. I thought he was
Yeah.
love bombing. This whole chapter, I was like,
Yes.
too quick, too fast, too rushed.
Yes. I was still there. I was still there. I was still there at this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I was like, okay, let me see. I'm going to quit being judgmental here and I'm just going to read it and see what happens. And that was my mistake. So, chapter 10.
Okay.
Lily finds out that Alyssa is working as a distraction from the fact that she can't get pregnant. Vale continues to lavish attention on Lily through more flowers and, to Lily's delight, invites himself to a dinner with Lily and her mother. At the
Oh.
restaurant, wait, hold on. At the restaurant, while her mother and Ryle are going to get to know each other, Lily finds the waiter familiar and realizes it's Atlas, whom she hasn't seen for years.
I lost my mind. Okay.
Dude, no, as soon as that happened, I was like, she excuses herself from the table and goes to talk to him, finding out that he's been in the military. She tells him about her flower shop before returning to the table and finishes her meal. After dinner, Ryo leaves and Lily speaks to Atlas again, finding out he has a girlfriend. Atlas tells her he wishes he had met up with her a year ago. Lily departs feeling strangely hurt and thinks that this is the closure between them that she needed, and that her heart needed closure so she can give it to Ryo, right? Okay, cool. Why the fuck did he invite himself to this
Yeah.
dinner?
That's such like a
So
weird.
strange.
I know. Like
I didn't
I've noticed a lot of
understand
men fucking do that.
You know, okay, so Gabby keeps mentioning love bombing.
Mm.
Remember I made a TikTok where I was talking about how love bombing makes perfect sense in my head because of
yeah.
course you would be in love with me like after knowing me for 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's what happened here to me because I was just like, yeah, perfect sense. Of course he's in love with her. Like she's everything like he's ever like how stupid.
I have a
No,
complaint.
go for it.
You want to know something though? This chapter, even though it was wiggity wiggity whack, there were some moments that were cute. Alyssa has a great line, "One dream at a time." I was
Oh,
like,
yes.
"That's beautiful." I wrote that
No, all
down.
my dreams all at once.
Love that.
It's because Lily wants to start a charity.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to do philanthropy, right?
Mhm.
And Alyssa's like, because Alyssa's rich and she starts to realize that she doesn't like rich people. So she says, hey, Alyssa, do you like donate to charities? And she goes, all the time. Yeah, we have like multiple charities that we do. Like, and she's like, this is why I like her. Like, you could
Mhm.
tell she's like a good person. Um,
I
and so she told Lily, like, we could totally help you. Just
Mhm.
like, let's finish with your flower shop, like, get it really set up, and then we
Mhm.
can move on. So yeah, that was really nice of her, I think.
There was also like I wrote down like in big capitals, we get it. He's acting different. For the past 3 chapters, Sophie, like you just hear Ryle's never done this before. He's never acted this way before with a girl and he's never been this infatuated. And I'm like, "Okay, we get it." It's like every other line we
Infatuated.
get it.
I'm glad that you brought that up because there was a part that I like marked
Mhm.
where I thought it was a red flag. So Alyssa says like he's never in the history of being Ryle Kincaid met a girl's parents, and then Lily thinks, of course, hearing her say that makes me smile. But then I wonder if maybe he's doing this just to please me. If maybe he's doing things he doesn't really want to do just because he knows I want a relationship. Okay, that in itself could just be the end, but the next line is what really like blared the sirens for me. And then I smile even bigger because isn't that what it's all about? Sacrificing for the person you like so that you can see them happy. Not like this.
Not like
It's
that.
not, you don't sacrifice your morals or what you want in a relationship
Mhm.
for a person so that they're happy. You sacrifice going to a football game once. You sacrifice going to bed earlier for like whatever reason. You don't sacrifice your entire form of being. Like that's
Mhm.
just not what it is. And again, therapy. This girl really needs to go to therapy. Very important.
You know what I actually wrote? Oh God, good God. What did I write? I wrote I think he's having sex with other people. I was like,
Mm.
because the way that he's like talking and the way that he's acting, I know that there are some guys, weirdos, but they'll like be really nice and respectful to the girl that they want to marry, but like they want to fuck people on the side because it doesn't mean
It's the
anything.
Madonna horror complex.
Basically.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it I don't know. It was very troubling to see that. Like it made me think of how I used to think like as a teenager. And this is a 23-year-old woman. Like,
Yeah.
honey, you need to get out, you need to date more, you need to look things up, you need to go to a therapist. Like you need to see why you feel this way because okay, well, and let's be honest, it has to do with her mom being abused because her mom sacrificed obviously a lot of herself to be in a
Mhm.
relationship where she wasn't respected. I also think that it's really interesting because last episode you said something about how it's the woman's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's to like get your children out, right? Of an abusive relationship to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
And we do end up seeing how difficult that actually is in practice versus in theory because you're right. Like it's if something is happening in your relationship, you need to get out. Like
Exactly.
you need to get out. But sometimes, and I have a friend who was like went through this, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes you just feel so trapped. Like
Yeah.
there's just I have actually multiple friends who have gone through this.
Yeah.
You feel so trapped that they like you don't know if they're going to kill themselves, you don't know if they're going to
Mhm.
kill you, you don't know if they're going to hurt you or the
Mhm.
child, where it just makes it really difficult to leave.
And see, I understand. The thing is like I was also in a relationship that was, I suppose, less than kosher. Um, it was,
Mhm.
it had some abusive moments. There was a lot of infidelity. There was a lot of stuff, and I lived with the guy, and I felt stuck, and I felt trapped. But eventually,
Mhm.
there comes either a breaking point. There are lots of options, and usually, if it takes a while, sometimes it takes years. I've seen women pull themselves out of it. It's not you're stuck forever. You're stuck for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I
And a
You
lot
think
of
just
people
feel
don't forget about that.
yeah.
exactly. And I think that, whether it's hanging out with friends, whether it's doing something that you love to do on the side, or whether it's, being in enough fear where you're like, I got to get out of here. I think that
Mhm.
there are options. And after a while, your body kind of goes into a protective mode. And I think you start to realize like you don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
It does take a while, and I sympathize with people who are going through abusive situations. Like, obviously get help, but I also understand. So
Mhm.
it's complex, but
Yeah, it's a difficult situation.
mhm.
All right, so chapter 11. Lily goes back to her diary entries, mentioning that she's almost at the end, knowing now that Atlas's will should be enough for closure.
Mhm.
Her entries describe how Atlas felt sick after he started sleeping in Lily's room and how Lily nursed him through it. Lily pretends she was sick so she could spend the day caring for him while her parents worked. While watching the movie Finding Nemo, both her and Atlas are moved by the phrase, just keep swimming. The
Moved.
phrase describes describes how they feel about their respective situations. Lily in her abusive household, Atlas being abandoned. Lily mentions her awareness of her attachment to Atlas in the next entry, where Atlas speaks of contacting his uncle and broaches the possibility of going to live with him in Boston in order to finish school there. Atlas and Lily share their first kiss. In the following entry, Lily mentions Atlas kissing her in public and her anger when other students made fun of Atlas for being poor. Atlas bakes cookies for Lily, which she eats with him in the evening. Atlas also gives her a heart he had carved. The next entry is sparse. Lily only writes that Atlas is going to Boston. The final entry details another assault Lily witnesses. Oh, God. And how this one's really bad. And how her father almost rapes her mother. Enraged, Lily picks up a knife, ready to hurt her father, but Atlas stops her. They're going to
Get
call the
the fuck
cops.
out, Atlas.
Wait. They're going to call the cops when Lily's mom goes to Lily and asks her not to. She sees Atlas with Lily, but doesn't say anything about him. Soon after, Atlas and Lily sleep together. Lily promises Atlas she'll find him in Boston. Not sleep together, sex boys, by the way. Lily promises Atlas she'll find him in Boston. He leaves for Boston the next day, and Lily is heartbroken, but resolves to move on because she thought he might die She thought she might die if he let go, but she didn't die because he let go, and here she is, still living, still breathing. In the present day, Lily considers the part of her life over. She sees a message Ryle sends about her and how happy he is in their relationship and saves it. So, this was a really difficult chapter to get through. This was another one where I had to put the book down, and I kind of was horrified that I was reading, like what I was reading, and it has so much to do with, first off, okay, the rape. That was really difficult to read, but it's just, oh my god. So
Well,
there's a part where basically the reason that this all happens is that they went out, and he is calling the mom a whore. The dad is calling her a whore because apparently she was flirting with someone. Lily says that this happens often because her mom is really pretty, so people tend to just kind of like look at her or talk to her, and she doesn't really flirt. It's just that her, obviously the dad has no outlet, so he takes it out on her, and he says to her like, if you want attention, I'll give you some fucking attention. And he throws her onto the couch, holds her down, and she's crying and screaming, and she finally just gives up and says, please be quiet, Lily is here. And that just broke my heart. And she just keeps saying like, please be quiet, and then Lily rephrases it and says, please be quiet while you rape me, dear.
yeah. Well, okay, that she literally could have left that line out. It's already traumatic enough, but okay.
It was really bad.
She's drilling it into us.
Yeah, I don't think that, I mean, I don't have an issue with the line. I think that I think it does really drill in like how traumatic this was for Lily and how it was going through her head. And obviously, like I said, Atlas was there, so that's even worse. Like, it's embarrassing to some extent, like when bad things happen in your house and people are there to witness, you know?
My thing is, the mom goes into her room at the end of this horrific event, and it's not just the potential like rape. Her lip is busted, her face is busted, and Lily makes a point in saying her father usually always hid wherever he hit the mother because his
He was
image
conscious of it.
his image is very important in the
A
town.
politician.
We learned in the before chapters Lily could walk into the room and he would stop.
Right.
And now he has both hit her and given her stitches. He's potentially raped the mother, all these horrible things. He's getting worse. And I think that's like the point that like I don't know what the fuck is happening, but like either his bipolar disorder or his alcoholism or something is getting worse. And I'm like, he's taking it out on the family, so
Yeah, it's getting really bad. And there's like a part where Lily's mom goes in, like she's sitting in the room, right? And she says to Lily, like, or Lily says to her, Mom, he was trying to rape you. And she says, it's not like that, Lily. We're married. And sometimes marriage is just ... You're too young to understand it. And I had no words. Like, just because you're married does not mean that you can just take sex. You are not entitled to sex. That's not how that works.
Val,
You can still rape someone in marriage.
women's bodily autonomy is a fairly new concept. Keep in mind, like we were considered, we were considered property for a very long time. Women's like ownership of their bodies is very new. Even in the
Yeah.
80s, people were like that. Women were like, "It's my husband. I got to do what I got to do." I don't.
Yeah.
The mindset has changed because moms have stopped saying, you got to keep your man. You got to. What are you going to be without a husband? Exactly.
Like, I'm a fucking gem.
This is all fairly new, though. This sort of
Right.
like empowerment is fairly new. And so this is just shining a light again on society and past relationships. And it's awful because it's so much more common than you think.
Yep.
It's so
So
much more
common.
common.
Last thing I wanted to touch on this chapter is the message that Lily saves, because this is it. This is my turning point, right? So Ryle says, I was worried that being in a relationship would add to my responsibilities. That's why I avoided them my whole life. I already have enough on my plate, seeing the stress my parents' marriage seemed to cause them, and the failed marriages of some of my friends. I wanted no part in something like that. But after tonight, I realized that maybe a lot of people are just doing it wrong, because what's happening between us doesn't feel like a responsibility. It feels like a reward, and I'll fall asleep wondering what I did to deserve it. And I wrote down finally something sweet, like something that I could get behind, where I was like, okay, this seems like he's coming around. And like, this was the beginning of the end for me. Like, this was where I fucked up, trusted the book, trusted the author, trusted Ryle. And I think it was so well done because it fucked me up at the end. Like, it fucked me up when we get to like the bad part, right? So let's go to chapter 12. I know that y'all probably have something to say, but I want to try to keep.
Okay,
We're almost at the 15, and I at least want to get there, even though, like,
we can definitely do
So
it.
this is also a short chapter anyway. Lily's shop is doing well, and in an outing with Ryle, Alyssa, and Marshall. Alyssa tells them that she's pregnant. They celebrate, and Lily discovers Ryle and Alyssa are two siblings out of three, so there's three siblings.
Mhm.
Their older brother died when they were children, but they seem not to want to discuss his death. Ryle introduces himself as Lily's boyfriend to Lily's roommate. I Is it just me? I thought for a second there that Atlas was going to be their brother.
Damn,
Oh,
dude.
that would have been so
Imagine.
crazy.
Right? I was like, no way
That
that
would have
this
been
is what's
so
going to happen.
good.
Also, I was going to say the beginning of this chapter, please, I gotta say it. It is set behind a backdrop of a onesie night at a hockey
Oh my God.
arena. So he
That was so
shows
funny.
up. This was a turning point for me because I'm like, hey, like if it's a one night stand and this is like the date beforehand, like sign me up.
Honestly, that sounds kind of
He
nice.
kicks down the door. He's like, what's going on? It's onesie night at the hockey rink. Suit up, gang. He literally like says suit up. And
Right.
then
This is Marshall, by the way.
so
Alyssa's
cute.
husband.
And Ryle's going with him, and they get in their onesies. They're there. The men order beer, and Ryle orders wine for Lily. Right?
Right.
He's like, "Oh, it's not free, so I'll pay for you. I'll buy you wine instead of beer."
It's because Marshall kept on complaining, and he's like, you're in a onesie.
Yeah.
Drink beer. It's free.
Yeah.
And Alyssa goes, you made $6 million. Why can't you just pay for your fucking beer?
Yeah.
And he's like, stop thinking like a rich girl. And I thought that was so funny.
They're newly rich, and I think that
Yeah.
that's kind of I like their dynamic, but
Mhm.
and then through that we find out that she's not drinking. Alyssa's not drinking, and then she says she's pregnant, and it's all very fun.
Oh, we also find out that Alyssa's husband, Marshall, is Ryle's best friend.
Yeah.
So, like, best friend's brother. Like, that's what happened there.
So
Right?
my brother's best friend. So it's like
Right.
if Sophie's friend, you dated them.
Right. Yeah, that. I would never do that, though. Gross. Also, there was a really nice part where this is where I was really coming around,
Mhm.
because there's tears in Ryle's eyes when he realizes Alyssa's pregnant. And Lily looks at him and he goes, shut up, that's my sister. Like, I love a man who can cry. Like, genuinely.
Sometimes when guys cry, though, it's just to manipulate, and sometimes they're just really good actors.
I know, but like, it's nice to know that someone's not afraid to feel those
Show that.
emotions.
Listen, I'm
'Cause it's like,
on to
I'm a
him.
man, I can't cry. Like,
I'm
bro,
on
please.
him. No, but like in general, men who are okay showing vulnerability is really nice.
Yeah.
I think so too. So, chapter 13. Also a short one. Ryle visits Lily at her flower shop again. They sleep together there, and as they lie together afterward, Ryle's mom calls. Lily asks about her as well as Ryle's father. His parents live in England, and Ryle has already told them about Lily. She asks about the brother that passed away and learns his name was Emerson.
Damn.
Dude, where are these
Looking back,
names?
in hindsight, this is such a red flag that he told his mom about Lily so quickly. Because my thought was like, okay, well, men tend to know very quickly if they're going to marry you or if they're not,
Yeah.
right? So it didn't raise any like specific red flags. I was like, this is a little fast, but also makes sense to some extent. And I did mark it where it says, oh no, never mind. That's irrelevant. But basically, the point is like this chapter was decent. I was very much sold on Ryle at this point.
Okay.
wow.
I was sold.
Oh, vale.
Like,
I
no,
know,
like
I'm
I
not.
have nothing marked here. Like, everything is, this is a clean chapter. There's nothing here. I was sold. I was enjoying what was going on. I was happy about it. I was still, there was like a smidge of like something's off, but then the next chapter happens. So
And so
since
the days
it's his day off, Ryle and Lily have decided to have dinner together and spend the night together. Ryle's in good spirits because he has a rare surgery scheduled for the next week.
off about me.
No, okay. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to read this chapter, because this is the chapter where it goes to shit. So I was sold the last chapter, and this is the chapter where I had to physically stop reading and messaged you guys, and I said, "Hey, there's a heavy trigger warning because this is really bad." And this is chapter 14. So I'm gonna have to kind of go back and forth between the summary and like what I have, because I really want you to understand where I was. So
Mhm.
like I said, last chapter I was sold completely. I had literally no notes. I was very much happy with it. Chapter 14 starts off, and there's a line where it says, he calls her, and he's never called her before, but he calls her and he says, "Hey, girlfriend." And I was just like, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold. Like, I don't like babe, and so many people call their partners babe. I just think it's obnoxious. I don't know. Yeah, like babe. I don't it's not my favorite. So the fact that he's like so excited about like her being his girlfriend, he's like, "Hey, girlfriend," and she's just kind of like, okay, like you can hear the smile in his voice, and she says, "Hey, boyfriend," right? Like, and I was just like, that's so sweet. Like for them, like I hope they're not doing this in front of people, but like for them to be doing that for each other is fine, right? So again, he's like
When
real
did he
excited
ask
about.
her to be his girlfriend?
He didn't. He just kind of introduced himself as a boyfriend, and Lily's like,
Ah,
"I'm cool with this."
no.
Yeah, cop out, cop out. So he brings a vintage wine. So it's like a really old wine that he brings for her. Lily also gets him to come over by saying that she's cooking naked. So there's that, right?
Whatever.
Yeah. So he shows up, and I think I might have to go through like this very very specifically because this is where I was so shocked. So they're drinking. They're on the third glass of wine. She was cooking like a casserole. She's talking about how good the wine is and that she's like really enjoying it. He's also drinking the wine. So they're both drinking, and that so already alcohol's involved. And he says, like, I'm having this really rare surgery coming up. It's conjoined twins, and he's going to split them basically, right? So it's like a
Wow.
really rare one. They're conjoined at the head, so it's even more dangerous and difficult. And he's like, I get to be there. Lily is talking to her mom on the phone, and she's like low-key flirting with Ryle while she's on the phone, like saying like, "Oh yeah, he's over, we're gonna study, I help him study a lot, and like he has like to have really good like hand dexterity." So like that's kind of like the flirt that she's trying to give. And then she says, or he says, that they're going to go out with Alyssa and Marshall again, and that they're going to go to the restaurant that they had just gone to, which is Bibs, which is the restaurant Atlas works at. And she's like, "Oh, I really don't want to go to that restaurant." So she's just like trying to be like, "No, it's not good. Like, let's not go." Finally, she ends up hanging up with her mom because her mom cannot take a hint. So Riley says like, "Okay, speaking of food, I'm starving." And she remembers, "Oh shit, like I was cooking." And so they go, and she's laughing. She's a little drunk. She's a little tipsy. They open it, and there's like a rush of smoke coming out of the oven. He is so panicked that he doesn't grab like an oven mitt, puts his hand in, burns his fucking right hand that he needs for Monday for the surgery. He screams. She's like, "Ryle, like a pot holder, like the casserole literally falls, it shatters, there's glass everywhere." She's obviously naked. She jumps off onto the counter so that she's not stepping on the glass. There's like mushroom chicken everywhere. And she said, "Okay." She starts laughing like hysterically, and she's like, "It must be the wine. This is some seriously strong wine." So he slams the oven door shut. I think I'm actually just going to read these 2 paragraphs to you guys, or 3 paragraphs. He slams the oven door shut, moves to the faucet, shoving his hand under the cold water, muttering curse words. I'm trying to suppress my laughter, but the wine and the ridiculousness of the last few seconds are making it hard. I look at the floor, at the mess we're about to have to clean up, and the laughter burst from me. I'm still laughing as I lean over to look at Ryle's hand. I hope he didn't hurt it too bad. I'm instantly not laughing anymore. I'm on the floor. My hand presses against the corner of my eye. In a matter of 1 second, Ryle's arm came out of nowhere and slammed against me, knocking me backwards. There was enough force behind it to knock me off balance. When I lost my footing, I hit my face on one of the cabinet door handles as I came down.
Ow.
So they're having a good time. He burned his hand. She's laughing because I laugh and I panic in situations like this. When Sophie fell into the river when we were like in New Mexico,
Oh my
I
God.
laughed hysterically because I was so nervous. I am a nervous laugher. So I completely understood, like, this guy's hand is fucked up. I would have been laughing and be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" But I'd still be laughing, not because it's funny, but because I'm nervous.
That would cry.
I had to read this 4 times because I was so panicked. Like, the way that it went from her laughing to her on the floor because he pushed her so hard that it knocked her off. He like pushed her like this or something, like off balance, because he did it with his arm. And she fell back like I couldn't focus. Like I literally had to read it a couple
I
of times
thought
because
he
I was
like
so confused.
backhanded her. I didn't.
That's what I thought at first too.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But it
Okay.
says that Ryle's arm came out of nowhere and slammed against me.
Yeah,
So like
like-
my thought is like yeah, like or yeah, something like that,
Oh my god.
right? So I was like fuck, like, and like I said, like they had just gotten me, so I went from like here to here the same way that I'm assuming that she did. So she was here and she went all the way down to rock bottom.
I would have just left him after that. There's no reason for him to be hitting you. Like,
And that's the issue, isn't it? So the next part that I have highlighted is where he gets on the floor and says, "I'm sorry. I burned my hand. I panicked. You were laughing and I'm so sorry. It all happened so fast. I didn't mean to push you, Lily. I'm sorry." I don't hear Ryle's voice this time. All I hear is my father's voice. "I'm sorry, Jenny. It was an accident. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Lily. It was an accident. I'm so sorry." And like I was sobbing, full on sobbing at this point. Like,
Val.
oh, dude, it's because imagine, like, you're sitting there looking at your mother get beat up, and then it happens to you. Like, I don't even know what my reaction would be. Like, I don't, like, how did I
Anger.
end up here? Like, I thought,
Like straight
it's just,
anger.
Oh, bro. Well,
it's so bad.
if anyone fucking hits me, it's just grab my shit, go and file a charge. I'm like,
Yeah, and she did not do that. Right, so she's freaking out. So she pushes him out of the way and he lands and his hand is cut like really badly. So the burned hand is now burned and cut. And she says like that she has this moment where she's mad, but she's also concerned because his hand,
Yeah.
and that's like his whole life.
That's not my problem
So
anymore.
he's still apologizing. He's like, "I'm so sorry, Lily. God, I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me, please." His voice slowly starts to become Ryle's voice again. And I feel it in my stomach, in my toes. His entire career depends on his hand. So it has to say something that he's not even worried about it, right? I'm so confused. So the fact that he's like, "Fuck my hand, forget my hand, are you okay?" That's what's getting in her head. And she's like, this has to mean something. Like, this has to mean something. And then the next part is, he's not like my father. He can't be. He's nothing like that uncaring bastard. And I put just like her mom, the way that her mom would defend him and say, like, "It's complicated. You don't understand. Like, he's not like that. He's a good man." Like, all of this stuff is just piling on. And then they have this, he's crying, sobbing. He's trying to get her to forgive him, and she says that there is a part of her that really wants that validation, and that it's confusing for her because he's the one that caused the hurt, but he's the one soothing it. So like he hurt her, and she also wants him to fix it. It's a very conflicting feeling. So he takes her to bed and they have sex. Yeah, this is like apology sex, and the entire time he's sobbing and saying like, "I'm so sorry, like I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry," which
ew.
disgusting, not happening, no way, and then he says, "Look, Lily, about what happened," and she says, "I don't want to bring it up again, like I don't want to talk about this, but Ryle, if anything like this ever happens again, I'll know that this wasn't just an accident, and I will leave you without a second thought. The fact that she stayed in the first place tells me that she's not leaving."
Yeah.
Because
That's
there
all
is
I needed
always
to
going
see.
to be an excuse.
There's no
Yeah, like
consequence.
there will always be an excuse. The fact that she said, "This is okay, and I will make excuses for you," he took that and he said, "I am safe here to do whatever I want." And he is begging her, like, "Please don't leave me. I'm not like your father." And she says, "I know you're not like my father. Just please don't ever make me doubt you again." And then they're cleaning the kitchen. They go to sleep. Yeah, they go to sleep, I think. They basically say, like, they're never going to drink again. It's like a whole thing, right? He brings her a soda because that's what his mom used to do when they had a bad day. This isn't a bad day. This is abuse. Like, what just happened is not a bad day.
No, and you know what? I have like, how do I say this to be like silly? I'm a clumsy person, and sometimes when cuddling with people, sometimes your knee hits them in the balls. Sometimes, you accidentally will like yank on your person's hair, you never know when you're like gonna accidentally hurt somebody, and then they get hurt or they cry or they're like, "Ow." But it should never be like you like yank my hair and I turn around and slap you on a, like, unless it's on
No.
purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Unless
Like
it's
you scare
like
me
there's no
from
reason
behind
for
and I don't
that
know it's you.
for him. So go ahead, Sophie.
Unless you scare me from behind and I don't know it's you.
Exactly.
yeah, like that's that because my defense reaction is if someone does something, I don't know who it is, I'm gonna turn around and punch someone. That's why I'm always telling people, don't scare me. Don't come up and try to tickle me. Don't do that shit because if I don't know it's you, I will hit you. And it's not on purpose. I'm not a terrible person. I just am going to defend myself. Like, and it's happened before. One time my dad came up to me at Target and he like poked me. I turned around and I smacked him. And I was just like, I saw that it was him and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do that. But like, we're at a fucking Target. I didn't know it was you. It could have been anyone.
Dude, you know what's so I have never really like hit anybody unless they like mess with me in a way, except for one time. For those of you out there, I hate being woken up in the morning. I hate it more than anything. And my dad, he'd get up really early and he'd want to like give me a kiss before he went to work. And so he'd come in and he wouldn't shave, so it felt awful. It was all scratchy and I'm there 8 years old like I'm out and he comes over, he's like, "Bye, sweetie." And I'm like, and I full on hand down slap him and turn over and I like go back to bed. And I'm like, and I hear him like run to the other room, like stomp, stomp, stomp. And then I hear him say, "Maria, your daughter just hit me." So you know what? I mean, I'm not a violent person, but in that instance, yeah, I'll hit you.
That's so funny. All right, so like the last couple of things that I have for this chapter, right? So she says that the soda worked. She feels a little bit better, and then he brushes his hand down my cheek, and I can see his eyes, and in the way he touches me, that he deserves at least one chance at forgiveness. I feel if I don't find a way to forgive him, I will somehow be placing blame on him for the resentment I still hold for my father. He's not like my father, and I just put like no, like this is just the excuses, the same excuses. And then this other line, all humans make mistakes. What determines a person's character aren't the mistakes we make. It's how we take those mistakes and turn them into lessons rather than excuses. Yes,
Yeah.
but also it reminds me of the line from the very beginning where I said that it was a red flag. There are no such thing as bad people.
Oh,
So that again is a big red flag. Like a
huge.
big red flag. He was putting that inside of her head and now it's there. And the last thing where he's like, I'm in love with you. After
Love
that,
bombing.
and she says, I love you too. And I was just like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. I was there for 2 chapters.
No.
I hate this person. I'm upset.
Dude, as we meet Ryle, we see him as a violent person in the first few
Mhm.
chapters. We meet him kicking a chair.
Yep.
And
Exactly. And that's such a humongous red flag. You do not need to be doing that. Go to a fucking rage room. Why are you like outside in public like kicking things? Like I don't if you're an angry person,
mhm,
you need to find positive ways to get rid of that anger. I have a friend who has a lot of anger issues and we've always talked to her because she has a tendency of like punching things or hitting things and I'm like, "Hey, that's not healthy.
mhm.
Yeah.
Like that's not okay for you to do. You need to find a positive way to like release that anger. You can't just be like hitting things. That's not okay."
Dude,
Right? And she's been working on that.
it's like when I don't want to say white boys because it's lots of other boys too, but like when guys punch holes in their wall. That's like a meme. Like
No. Like, what is that gonna do? That's just gonna cost you money.
idiot.
Yeah, like you're just being stupid. I hope you break your hand too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was a really tough chapter to read.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And that's because I haven't been through this. I can't imagine someone who had been reading this and had gone through it. I can't imagine how triggering this must have been.
Yeah.
Not to mention, again, these books are targeted towards teenage girls.
Oh my
You
god.
just read a chapter where someone was hit, someone was pushed,
Mhm.
and she's giving all of the excuses. I think that this, in the mind of, for example, I'm 24, right? Me reading it, I can see what's wrong. But a lot of teenage girls, I mean, as a teenage girl, I would have been like, yeah, he deserves one chance to prove himself.
So there's also another book series that the Anonymous book series, and it's usually like, it talks. There are all these black cover books, right? and marketed towards young girls. And a lot of them deal with, one of them's about a girl who dies from anorexia, how she's always running and she doesn't want to eat. Then she gets really obsessed with it. And then one's about, cocaine, one is about alcohol, and all the characters die. And they're all written by somebody anonymous because the material is so dark and, crazy that they don't want to like come out and say their name. And it's awful how like we're shaping women to romanticize these things.
Yep.
Because
To
writers
forgive.
make things
Like
pretty.
Tumblr. Like Tumblr.
Yeah, like Tumblr.
Like
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
whole
like,
like when I was in my prime teen years, like start like barely becoming like 13 through maybe like 17.
Hmm.
That shit was everywhere.
mhm. No, and I remember it so vividly.
And it was so
Like,
pretty.
it is not okay. It's not fun. It's not quirky to be depressed
Yeah, and
or
like
have anxiety or be
everything.
suicidal.
Yeah.
None of those things are fun and quirky. They're
Everything,
serious
everything.
issues.
Yeah.
Like all of my poems were depressing, and like I was in such a low vibrational like period in life, and it was just horrible. And I couldn't
And
get
the thing is,
out.
like, there's music, there are books, poetry, like, it's everywhere. And we just take it as like this beautiful part of life. We do not need to romanticize
Hmm.
being suicidal, being in abusive relationships, being raped. It's okay to say, like, you know what, this happened to me and I accept it and this is how I feel. One thing. It's a different thing to romanticize it and be like, I am better because of it. I want this to happen to me so that I have something to write. Like, no, like, do not stay in these places.
Yeah.
Do not push yourself to be in these places. You don't want to go through these things.
Being in pain doesn't make you different. It doesn't make you
Mhm.
stronger. It doesn't make
Mhm.
you more attractive. It doesn't give
Mm-mm.
you anything besides
Doesn't make you
pain.
special.
Yeah,
Exactly. So don't stay if you think any of those things, or if you think, "Oh, I can fix him and I can change him."
you
You
can't.
have a savior complex, and
Yep.
it's not about saving yourself, and that needs to change.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Like, it's so problematic. And
If you
to
like the book,
anyone
get help.
who's reading this book and being like, I love Ryle, go to therapy. Please, I'm begging you. This is not a man that you need to love.
Exactly.
Chapter 15. Let's move on.
Ooh, the last
We have
one.
3 chapters. We have 3 chapters left of this part 1. If we can
Oh.
finish it, that'd be great. If not, it's totally fine.
Oh, okay. It's to 17. I was right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Ryle and Alyssa and Marshall are eating at the restaurant where Lily saw Atlas. Ryle and Lily have made up a lie to cover up the incident, which I was like, oh my god. As they have made up, oh wait, as they talk, Atlas comes over and Lily finds out that Atlas is the chef of the restaurant. Atlas sees Lily's black eye and Ryle's bandage and confronts Lily about it when she goes to the restroom. Lily explains that it was an accident and Atlas angrily tells her she sounds like her mother, making excuses for her father. Lily tells Atlas that she's now more scared of him than Ryle, and she leaves. Finding Ryle outside, Atlas leaves the restroom and attacks Ryle. They fight and Atlas throws Ryle out after Ryle says Atlas was Lily's pity fuck. Lily and Ryle's head Lily and Ryle head back home, and while at first Ryle doesn't want to hear Lily's explanation, Lily eventually clears up that there's nothing between her and Atlas. She also hasn't told Atlas about what happened between her and Ryle. In return, Ryle tells her that thinking of her being unfaithful to him is painful, and if it hurts this much now, he's terrified to think of what it could do to him years from now. Lily assures him that she loves him. This chapter was also so scary to read because okay, so the part where they're leaving. Okay, well, first off, Atlas tells Lily, "Leave him, just get out," and I'm like, Atlas, yes, like you're right, get it in her head. And I feel like this is such a difficult thing to talk about because sometimes when someone's in a situation like this, they get butthurt when
Yeah.
someone tells them, and this is what's happening with Lily. So Atlas is like,
Yeah.
leave him, do not stay. She's like, he's not like that, Atlas. It wasn't like that. Ryle's a good person, and then he says, "Funny, you sound just like your mom," and I was like, oh fuck, right in the heart,
Damn. Okay,
right
but
there.
like fair, she does need a bit of a reality check. Like,
No, I think he should have done that. Like I'm completely okay with that. He should have.
mhm.
Then there's a part where they're leaving and Lily he's fucking furious. Ryle is furious and he says, "I didn't bring my fucking car," and he's yelling, right? And she pulls out her keys out of her purse and walks He walks up to her. He snatches them from her hand,
Mhm.
and she follows him to her car. And my heart was beating so fast because I was like, oh my God, like what is going to happen here? Because he's so angry and he like took the car and he's driving. And like there's always those stories of guys driving recklessly because they're fucking stupid.
Exactly.
And then the last line of the whole chapter is Atlas is wrong about Ryle. I just wish Atlas knew he was wrong. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and that was a foreshadowing one for me where I was like, oh,
Oof.
this is not going to age well. It was a very scary chapter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and we also find out that Atlas actually owns this restaurant. So he's the owner of the restaurant and he takes different roles every
I
once in a while. So
love
he'll be a
that.
waiter, dishwasher. Like, and I think that's great. Like, good on him. Like,
He
genuinely
moved
good on
up
him.
in the world.
Yeah.
And he said he loved to cook. He said that
Yeah.
he loved to cook. So, yay, his dreams came true.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
All right, so chapter 16, a shorter one, I think. Atlas comes to Lily's shop to apologize for not for what he sees or for defending her,
Mhm.
but for comparing her to her mother. He leaves his number inside Lily's phone just in case she might need it, even though Lily tells him that she won't. Lily reflects that she still feels some attachment to Atlas. She tries to clarify to Atlas that she didn't sleep with him all those years ago out of pity. In response, Atlas says her clarification isn't needed because he knows that wasn't a pity fuck, he was there.
Mhm.
Before he leaves, he gives her a gift he'd gotten her a long time ago, an autographed book by Ellen DeGeneres with the inscription Atlas says just keep swimming.
Oh.
So that's chapter 16.
Okay. Yeah, the Ellen DeGeneres correlation kind of makes sense now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of interesting. Like I thought that was like a very like good gift. Aside from like everything that Ellen's done in recent like that is a very thoughtful gift.
Yeah.
And he got it for her before they met. He's been holding it on until they met each other again because basically they promised each other that they would find each other in Boston someday, which is why Lily kind of ends up moving to Boston.
Mhm.
She's a little embarrassed about that because now they're obviously not together and it's like a whole thing.
Mhm.
Final chapter of part 1, guys.
Ah!
So, chapter 17. Lily finally reads the last entries of her diaries, which describe Atlas surprising her by visiting her for her 16th birthday. He had left her for Boston, and his visit cheers up Lily, who has been depressed at losing him. Atlas will soon leave for the military, but he promises that he will find Lily when he gets out. They sleep together, and Atlas gives her a Boston souvenir magnet, which is a magnet that has been mentioned before. Basically, Ryle said like, "Oh, you have like a touristy magnet," and she's like, "It's someone else gave it to me."
I
Mhm.
love touristy magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't buy it, so she's like, "It doesn't count as touristy because someone else gave it to me." So they sleep together. Atlas gives her the Boston souvenir magnet, not expecting Atlas. Lily hadn't locked her door. And this is so bad, guys. After he gives her the gift, Lily's father comes in and assaults Atlas with a bat. So we knew that he had beat up Atlas, but he comes in with a fucking bat and breaks all of his fucking bones. Like Lily can hear the crunch of the bones and she's screaming. He hurts Atlas's body badly enough that Atlas has to be taken to a hospital. Lily suffers a panic attack from the incident and has to be taken to the hospital herself. Lily's town learns of the incident, which shames her family, apparently. Angered and grief stricken, Lily writes the entry to process the events, though she remains upset in the present day. Lily mentions that her feelings for Atlas haven't changed. During college, she had the tattoo of the heart carved for her inked on her collarbone, where Atlas liked to kiss her. She moved to Boston after college, seeking something different. Lily concludes that now her path has diverged from Atlas's. Now she loves Ryle, feeling that same depth with him that she used to feel with Atlas. And that's the end of the first part. And this chapter was really hard to get through for if for nothing else, being beat with a bat.
No, and that probably off-put his military enlistment
I'm sure
because
because he was in there for six years. He says
yeah, so
so. Like
he would have had
this
to wait to heal because he wasn't enlisted yet. So
Mm-mm.
damn.
And he was already 18, so he was taken off. It
Damn.
was so this is the final entry. She no longer writes in that diary, so she's not writing letters to
Wait,
Ellen
they
anymore.
didn't press charges? He didn't press charges?
He didn't get in trouble.
And then
They spun it around so that it was like, oh, he saved his daughter from a homeless dude who was trying to manipulate her.
Mhm.
So they praised the dad for this. Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So this is the end of part 1.
Yay.
And like I said, I read one chapter into part 2. and I was infuriated with the short chapter that comes next. And no
Oh.
abuse takes place.
Okay, good.
There is not a single thing of abuse in the next chapter. I don't know about the rest. I'm sure there's more abuse in the rest of it. But the next chapter made me so mad that I put the book down and I said, okay, I'm going to read the rest of this on the plane and hopefully nobody judges me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Honestly, it's a whirlwind. It is a whirlwind. There's a lot of abuse. There's a lot of things. I still love Atlas, and I'm kind of rooting for Atlas.
Same. And if I hope this ends how I think it ends and not how the other way I think it ends. I hope this ends how I want it to end and not how I think it ends.
I don't even know how this is going to end, but I think I'm going to be sad. I don't think it's going to be a happy ending.
Well, it ends with them, so.
No. No.
I think it's gonna.
That was a good
I
one,
really
Vale.
think.
That was a
Thanks.
good one.
I really think it's gonna be a bad ending because Vio, right? Vio told you that you're gonna want to throw the book.
Mio told me. I know it's.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
I know
Mio.
it gets confusing.
Hi, Mio. I saw
Yeah.
that she liked our story or something this morning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's so sweet. She
So-
loves our podcast, and so does her
Oh,
boyfriend.
thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you for listening. This will be like 3 months from when you first when you listen to this.
He literally, it's so funny. He when they'll pick me up if we go do stuff, he'll be like, "Oh my god, are you that girl from On About podcast?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Aw.
I'm
That's
so
so cute.
sweet. Yeah.
like, they're hyping me
Yeah.
up.
We stand men
Yeah.
like that.
So Mio, you know how this ends, so
She,
don't tell Gabby.
She hasn't told me anything, but she just says that we're gonna want to throw the book. So
I already want to throw the book, so like I'm waiting. I'm excited. And I told some people that we were reading this book, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, I'm really excited because I don't want to read it."
yeah, so like we can just like talk shit and like make it funny and not too deep,
Mhm.
even though like it's hard not to. But
I
like,
feel
Yeah.
so empty, guys.
I felt the same way. Like I felt like a shell.
don't feel like really. Okay, wait here. Just if anyone's watching the actual video of this, you've earned a reward. You
Oh, shut up. Mio just liked something on our thing, like right now.
Oh my
She
gosh.
heard us.
Okay, wait, look. A
For what?
baby elephant.
Oh, send it to me so I can post it.
Guys, you know what? At the end of the day, don't take things too seriously because there are elephants still.
Yeah. Thank God. They're still alive.
Thank God. Could you imagine if they were the ones that went extinct? I like elephants a little too much.
Manatees. I love manatees.
Oh, I had like
water
a grade school teacher who was obsessed with manatees. That like we had like this little plushie, and it
Mhm.
was like the class plushie, and it was a manatee, and you could take it
Aw.
home and like make little clothes for it. A bunch of kids made like Hawaiian t-shirts for it. I thought it was so
How
funny.
cute. That's so cute.
It was
Okay, guys, we should probably cut this because I don't know, Sophie, you need to go to class, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
we
you
actually
still have time?
finished with really good timing. It's only
Yeah.
10. We
Like,
usually
I mean,
finish...
I leave at 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
We should end the recording though, so you have less
I
to
do want to
edit.
get breakfast.
yeah, okay. So thank you guys so much for listening or watching or both. Don't forget to please download so that we get those views and join us next week where we will be going on about part 2. I'm hoping that we can finish it in the next episode. If we can't, then it'll be 2 episodes, but
Mhm.
I guess by the time that this is out, it'll say on the description so you'll know if there's 2 episodes or one
Mhm.
more of this. But thanks again, guys. Bye.
Bye.